people can expect this to play out. But in terms of playing out, there is the countdown now, and it should be 51 minutes to the hearing beginning at the Supreme Court. Duncan Hayemba, good morning, sir. You're joining us from the Supreme Court. The ground rules have been set as of yesterday. Where uko kwa ground? Does it look like we are starting on time? And what are the activities there from what you can see?
Yes, Mark, Nico ground, and a lot of activity, just security heightened. I can tell you all the way from I'm sure you know this part of the country, towards Uhuru Park. Security officers are dotting the way, the road as you make your way to the Supreme Court or the Milimani Court. Security has been beefed up. What you can say, it is up to the hilt. Everywhere it's dotted blue, blue, blue. But when you can, as you can be able to see behind me, there were sniffer dogs here. Anybody coming in with any equipment, it has to be subjected to serious security check here. And the sniffer dogs, or the officers on 4 legs, the ones that are doing this particular screening, sniffing. Of course, metal detectors are all over. As you can see, the officers, the 4-legged officers, are here making sure that anybody coming in with any equipment has to be sniffed. I can see there's a lady there. I can see them on the move. Of course, that is just to explain. That is a lady who is walking in, and now instructions are being offered, actually given to that particular officer who is with the other officer, just to scrutinize, rather to check the contents. That tells you how matters are being handled here, being not taken lightly, so to speak. But in terms of the ground rules, yesterday the bench gave a breakdown on the amount of time that parties will spend. Of course, the lion's share has been given to Raila Odinga, Martha Karua, who were termed as petitioners #1. In terms of application, they were the 5th. But after the consolidation, they've been termed as petitioner #1, who will have 3 hours. Other parties also that will have 3 hours is the first respondent, William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. The rest, whether you are part of the petitioners or the respondents, they will have to use 30 minutes each to make sure that they actually prosecute their cases in terms of trying to convince the bench. Remember that the burden of proof is, or rather they always say in this part of the country, or this part of this career, that he who alleges must prove. And therefore the 7 petitioners who have been lined up to prosecute the 2022 presidential election #1 will have a combined 6 hours to convince the judges on why this particular presidential election has to be nullified, if that will be what will be granted, because in some of the petitioners they are saying they want it, being an election court, to retally and to scrutinize and where possible levelize the ground. And if they'll find that there were some anomalies or figures that were wrongly given or denied, then they must pronounce who is the winner. Now there is that debate with regard to what Article 140 of the Constitution says with the mandate, but we also have other election laws which they will be asking the judges that, despite this being the court of first and last instance, once they realize that there were anomalies, then the next step should be, if they will correct, and being an election court, they should automatically declare who is the winner in that context. That is something that we'll see how will it pan out. We didn't see it happen in 2013. We didn't see it happen in 2017. Now, just to take you through who will be appearing today, the first ones to take to take the mic or the stand will be Raila Odinga. 3 hours. We'll have 4 lawyers that have been, or advocates that have been allocated. Then we'll have Njoroge Kamau. We'll have the Youth Advocacy Africa, Khalifa, David Kariuki Ngari, Okia Omtata, Julia Nchege. Those are the 7 consolidated petitions that will be heard today. And then tomorrow we'll have the respondents led by William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. And then on Friday, it will be the responses on what will have transpired. But tomorrow, something critical will be happening at 2 p.m. Of course, the lapse of the 48 hours that have been given to scrutinize ballot boxes, the election, the kits that were used to transmit the results. The 48-hour period will lapse. That is when the report will be handed to the judges. So that is something that will also be significant. That is what we'll have, or that is what we have in terms of the ground rules, Mark.
Submissions there, and the time allocation given in even the important 2 p.m. Slot in terms of the deadline for the scrutiny that was directed, and indeed the Kithure Kindiki said that they have already started to comply with that, so it's in motion. What other issues stood out for you? There was the directive on server access, and I believe this time round people will not be asleep, those who are in charge of the server.
Yes, and that is what you would call the elephant in the room with regard to this particular petition. I don't remember seeing it in 2013 or 2017. 2017, as you've said, the server operators were said to be asleep in France, and when they were told to open the servers, it was said that they couldn't. There was that order that the servers be opened that never came into fruition, and then even the partial access, the read-only, there were issues in terms of accessing, but this particular one, this could be a game changer. Raila Odinga had demanded that a recount be conducted in at least six counties. That one wasn't granted. However, his prayer that of at least 15 polling stations has been granted. That is the scrutiny that started yesterday at 2 p.m. What does this mean? If the petitioner will prove that at least from the 15 there were anomalies, and if the numbers will be significant. Remember, at the surface, at that surface level, the difference between Raila Odinga and William Ruto is about 233,000. Now, picture this. In the event the 15 polling stations, they retally, they open the ballot papers, then find that the numbers are maybe less than what was declared in favor of maybe the deputy president, or whatever was allocated to Raila Odinga is not what is reflected from the 15 polling stations. That is a sample. Then that could be a serious decision or a serious effect with regard to the direction this particular petition will do. Now, as I've said, Raila Odinga had wanted 6 counties. That is among them Nandi, Kericho, Bomet, Kirinyaga, Nyeri, and Nyandarua. However, the sample that has been given of the 15 polling stations still falls within those particular counties. Therefore, this could be the game changer insofar as this particular election petition is concerned. If maybe Raila Odinga was, maybe he has put a case that there were votes that were given that were exaggerated, maybe in favor of his main competitor, or if the votes that were allocated to him on Form 34A and Form 34B and subsequently Form 34C is not what is reflected in those particular ballot papers. So it is a matter of wait and see, and as I've said, maybe that could be the game changer in this particular presidential petition, Mark.
But there's been quite some restrictions. You've mentioned it in terms of the legal team, the litigants who will be allowed, access to the Supreme Court, the main Supreme Court, where all the action will be going on. I believe you will be one of the journalists who will have access to that. This sticks out as maybe one of the main changes from the 2017 petition, as well of definitely the 2013 petitions. That was a packed room in 2017, but it's now quite well spaced.
Yes, as I indicated earlier, the social distancing is being practiced as per excellence in this particular scenario. Remember, in 2013 and 2017, we witnessed a jam-packed Supreme Court. In what you could say, it was a show of might. You could see then NASA, the legal war chest they had mounted, the who is who in the legal arena. You could see equally jubilant then. Then we had other interested parties. It was even a problem for the bench to access. Now this time, courtesy of the COVID-19 health protocols, they have spaced out. Even for journalists, we have a media tent that is outside the Milimani courts. Remember that all activities, all other courts have been told to continue transacting online. So this is it is a temporary seat of power for the apex court. They've moved from the CBD up to here. Inside the court, it is well spaced. There are very limited number. Therefore, it is a game changer for any advocate. This is a very big case that it gives you what you can call the bonga points or the mileage if you would participate in a presidential election petition. We saw a big number, a battery of advocates that were paraded in 2017. This time round, it has been significantly reduced. As I said, they've demolished that mountain of the learned friends that we expected to see. Many of them had prepared to participate in this third election of the Supreme Court, but that is not the case. Also, other changes that we are witnessing when you do a comparison, the 2013, 2017, 2022. Of course, this is a totally new bench. In 2013, we had 6 judges. Then we did not have the DCJ because Nancy Baraza had been removed from office. So 6 judges rendered that decision. That was said to be unanimous. 2017, we had also 6 judges because one of the judges was not able to sit through to the conclusion of the 2017 petition. Now, what happened, it was not a unanimous decision. It was a decision of the majority because 4 judges voted in favor of nullifying the election petition. I can see Professor Kithure Kindiki among the Deputy President William Ruto's legal team walking in, robed in I don't want to use the Zaki Zuasame's description of the hair because that is a robe, but I can see they're already walking in readiness of that. So I was saying in 2017, the bench did not deliver a unanimous decision. It was 4 against 3. When you look at that composition, it was totally new in terms of the top notch. We had a new Chief Justice, David Maraga, who had taken over from his predecessor, William Tunga. We had Philomena Mwilu, who had taken over from Kalpana Rawal, who had retired. And then we had, in terms of the depth, we had Professor J.B. Ojwang, who is very thorough in terms of giving his arguments and all that. He was among the 2 that dissented. So that is what we expected. What do we think of 2022? It is a matter of wait and see on Monday 5th on how the judges will render their decision. Will it be a split in terms of majority and minority? Will it be a unanimous decision? Those are some of the comparisons that we'll be able to see, but by and large, this is totally a new bench because it has the new Chief Justice, Martha Koome. It also has a new entrant who was the president of the Court of Appeal, Justice William Ouko, who is also very thorough, calm, and collected when it comes to dispensing or dealing with cases that we've seen previously. How will this one be, how will the cookie crumble in this particular scenario? Those are some of the comparisons we would want to see then when we'll do the comparison between the first election court of 2013, the second presidential election court of 2017, and now this third particular one that, as I've said, interestingly also has a new Chief Justice or the president of this court at the helm. Mark.
And a lot of eyes will be on the Supreme Court, the apex court, and the decision that they will arrive at by the deadline, that is on Monday. It is 37 minutes to when we were expecting to have the Supreme Court hearing start. From what you see, Khaemba, just before I let you go, I've seen some people check in and, as you say, being scrutinized by the four-legged officers. But have you seen any key petitioners, litigants who have arrived so far?
Not so sure, but we will try. I wanted us to try our luck and see if we can access the chambers, but I can see security is tight. But we just wanted to try our luck with the Basweti here, who is not so keen. But we don't want to rattle what you call we don't want to rattle the officers there, but we would have tried. But so far we've not seen the legal team for the petitioners. What we've seen is the legal team of the first respondent, Professor Kithure Kindiki, walking in swift. So we are not so sure, but there is another entrance in here that even the bench will use. So we are not so sure whether some of the legal minds will use, because some of them are very senior. They are the senior counsel, so we don't know whether they have the privilege to use other entrances. But since we started planning to go live here, we've not seen any from the respondents walking in Mark.
All right, you stay put there, Duncan Khaemba. I wouldn't want you to get into trouble, you and Basweti, so don't go beyond your bounds in terms of the restricted areas, but you have confirmed that there are some key litigants and representatives who have arrived, and as soon as the hearing is set to begin, we'll be crossing over live. But in the meantime, I will still be kept company by advocates and